You're watching Eye on Africa here on France 24. I'm Shona Bhattacharya. Let's take a look at our top stories in this edition. Requesting more forces, the United Nations wants to add 2,500 troops and personnel in Mali, one of its most dangerous missions worldwide. A series of attacks in May left 12 peacekeepers dead. The death toll from the attack Wednesday night on an upscale hotel in Mogadishu rises to 17. We'll be getting the latest on what happened from the ground. And Nollywood comes to Paris. A 4-day festival is bringing some of the brightest stars from the African continent to the French capital. Our reporter attended the opening. Seeking reinforcements in Mali, the MINUSMA mission there is seeking 2,500 extra troops and police following a call by the United Nations. A spokesperson says the mission also needs more air assets after a series of attacks that left 12 peacekeepers dead in May alone. MINUSMA currently has about 12,000 personnel, and since July 2013, it's used drones and other defense weapons to protect its bases. Nicolas Germain has more.
The attacks in Gao on Tuesday showed it once again. MINUSMA, the UN mission in Mali, is one of the deadliest for peacekeepers in the United Nations history.
The Secretary General urges the government of Mali, with the support of its partners, to expeditiously investigate and hold the perpetrators accountable. He also calls on the people of Mali to provide information on the attacks to the authorities.
Ban Ki-moon has made several recommendations to reinforce MINUSMA. Introduce 2,000 extra peacekeepers so their total number will reach 13,200, bring in 480 extra police officers for MINUSMA, and redeploy the Rapid Response Force's 650 troops from Ivory Coast to Mali. For the head of MINUSMA, the main problem is that last year's peace agreement is in limbo. It was signed between the government and former Tuareg rebels and was supposed to weaken the jihadists.
The best way to fight terrorists, to isolate them, is to implement the peace deal. Every minute, every moment lost is the same amount of time earned by the enemies of peace.
The Security Council will vote on the renewal of the UN's mission in Mali on the 29th of June.
Wednesday evening's attack on an upscale hotel in Mogadishu ended only Thursday morning. Somali security forces killed all the assailants involved, a senior police officer says, in a gun battle that lasted through the night. Islamist Shabaab militants claimed responsibility for the attack. At least 17 civilians were killed, with some sources reporting more. Many wounded remain in serious condition. Among the victims were 2 members of parliament and possibly other high-ranking officials. For more on the attack, Mohammed Mahmoud joins us now from the region. Mohammed, give us some of the details that are emerging from the assault.
So far, we know that at this moment, the death toll has risen to 24 following the Mogadishu hotel attack after the deadly overnight siege. Among them, 2 members of parliament who are also believed to be British Somali members of parliament, and they are of British citizens. They were killed. Include Abdullahi Jama Kabawain and Mohammed Mahmoud Gure. So the number of Al-Shabaab attackers have not yet been confirmed, but according to the Security Minister Abdirizak Omar Mohammed, said that at least 4 fighters were killed. 1 in the bomb blast who started the attack, and 3 other militants who were moving from a hotel room to the other the whole night, who were killed by the end of this morning. So the gunfighting was still had the whole of that last night, and it is believed that at least 50 people were hurt in that attack.
Now, African Union troops are boosting Somalia's efforts to oust the Shabaab, but does this attack prove that their tactics are working, or that the Shabaab are stronger than ever?
We know that when we go back to the background in February of this year, the militants secured control over fight after the African Union troops pulled out of some of the major towns where they left the Al-Shabaab take control of towns such as Merka. But you know that the Al-Shabaab fighters have been hit hard in the last few months by the Somali National Army and the Africa Union troops getting support from the U.S. Army troops. So most of them have fled those places and they have changed their tactics. Now they are trying to send a message that although they might have lost control of the Mogadishu city, they are still going to carry out attacks such as the one that happened yesterday in Mogadishu.
Thank you so much, Mohammed Mahmoud, joining us there from Nairobi. In Nigeria, militants killed 4 civilians, according to the army. 2 soldiers were also reported killed. The assailants, who belonged to the Niger Delta Avengers, attacked a boat there that belongs to Nigeria's state oil firm, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, or NNPC. There's been a series of attacks on oil pipelines in the area in recent weeks. President Muhammadu Buhari canceled a trip planned for this Thursday to the area over security fears. A former managing director of the NNPC has just been named OPEC's Secretary General. The Nigerian Mohammed Barkindo was chosen to head the 13-member oil-producing cartel. He will be replacing Abdallah Salem El-Badri from Libya. His mandate starts in a few weeks and lasts 3 years. Barkindo will be the 5th Nigerian to head OPEC since its creation. Schools burned to the ground, thousands of civilians inconvenienced by arson. South Africa's northern Limpopo province is witnessing heavy protests against the local government. This just 8 weeks before municipal elections. But one man is doing his piece to keep students learning. Caroline Dumais met him. She brings you this report.
Protests turned violent in Moklakeng last year. Calm has returned and rebuilding is almost finished. But the library has still not reopened. Neo Matetsa used to come here often. He remembers the day the books went up in smoke.
But because they are coming this way and they are seeing this building and they are so angry, they felt like painting. After painting here, they see this next library. Let's also paint here. And then I think there were talks, no. But they banned.
Neo has put pressure on the government to reopen this place.
We are a challenge to them because we make them to work.
He even created a library at home. Behind these walls, dozens of pupils come every day to do their homework. They have access here to school books. Neo and his volunteers rely on donations from all over the country. As more books flood into the one-room library, they have decided to send them to other communities affected by violent protests. This lot will go to Limpopo, where a few schools were burnt ahead of the municipal elections.
Yes, we were very, very, very worried because of those people in Limpopo. Now it's a 6 months thing, and as we can see, there's no books. They have been banned, and that's very, very wrong.
Neo's dream is to one day build a modern library, but his aim at the moment is to change young minds.
We have to change the mindset of these young ones, my kids. We love them. Now they love books.
Neo is now convinced that these youngsters will never burn books as a way of protesting against the government.
And the great King Kama, the federal.
He's the best Ethiopian track star of his generation, but Kenenisa Bekele won't be participating at the Olympics in Rio this summer. The Ethiopian Athletics Federation is excluding the world record holder and 3-time Olympic gold medalist from the marathon team, a decision Bekele calls, quote, unjust. Bekele was out with an Achilles injury most of last year, and at least 12 athletes have protested to the federation over selection criteria. Roll out the red carpet for representatives of the world's second largest film industry. Nollywood Week is back in Paris for its 4th edition in the French capital, acting as a showcase for Nigerian cinema and beyond. The festival brings together the biggest names in the industry, from actors to directors and producers. Director Mahmoud Ali Balogun spoke to our reporter Roméo Langlois about the challenges facing Nollywood today.
What you used to see as African cinema is what you used to get at the festivals only in the early days of filmmaking in Nigeria. But with Nollywood, things have changed. With the digital revolution, we've been able to express ourselves, tell our own stories, our own ways for the rest of the world to see what we have to offer. So there's a redefinition of what African film is through Nollywood.
That's it for this edition of Eye on Africa. Stay tuned to France 24. Belle Lupton will be with you next. Live from Paris. Continue. Stay with us.
Reporters.
No to violence, no to Boko Haram. Nigeria has other stories to tell. Welcome to Nollywood. In the centre of Lagos, in this temple of entertainment, where the majority of producers are women, the spotlight is on happiness and love. Behind Bollywood, but ahead of Hollywood, it's the second largest film industry in the world. Join us behind the scenes of the anti-Boko Haram industry.
Reporters on France 24 and France24.com.